am not feeling it today. I don't know what it is. Actually, I can take this off. Oh, I'm not feeling it today. I don't know what it is, but I am not feeling it at all. I started yesterday by um, just chilling with the kids and everything like that, and then they started coughing and they was wearing masks and stuff like that. And I thought, oh, nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing. Then I sit down and I get ready to prepare for the show, because now since we do video, I got to get notes and things like that. So I was getting all that together, and I started feeling chills, right? I was like, ooh, it's kind of cold. And then my muscles started to hurt and stuff like that. And so I took a NyQuil, slept like a baby, went into work, and everything was just fine. And then I sat in this goddamn chair. It's a very comfortable chair, and it's all going to crap, man. So, yes, that's what I'm going through right now. So, yeah, this is what you guys get. So if you don't get this super energetic Joe, I'm sorry about that. I am so sorry. But, like I said, I'm so glad that you guys are here. And if you love the show, make sure you go out and spread the word, okay? Make sure you go out to, let me make sure I get all my stuff ready, okay? Let me see if I can get all this. Make sure you go to Facebook at Gateway Pro Productions, Instagram at _Joe Show 20, and that's where you can also find us on TikTok as well. But make sure you go out and you go check all that out. Tell everybody about that. I feel like I'm just rambling, but we're going to get through the show today. We're going to do it today. Okay. So a lot of this stuff is going to be old news. Some of you might have heard it before, but there's just stuff, I be looking at, I be scrolling through the news, and I get it. But since this is not an every single day show, y'all gonna be getting it a couple weeks late and stuff like that. But I was looking through there, and y'all remember that girl who was on TikTok and she started making all those racist comments, right? About Beyonce and stuff like that. How Beyonce isn't country, right? Her music isn't country. She even said on that video that Beyonce wasn't country because her grandparents were out there picking, right? So that makes her not country because her grandparents were out there picking the fields. They weren't actually living in the country, right? And so she said that on TikTok, right? And I thought, that is crazy. That is messed up. I can't believe that she would even say anything like that. People from her state are stupid. People from her state are racist, and people from her state should be wiped off the face of the earth. That's what I said. Until I figured out what state it was. This girl was from ISU, Indiana State University. This is the university that used to be around the corner from my old house, right? I interact with these people almost every single day. On the daily, I interact with these people. And it just surprised me that this student was from there, right? But basically it was talking about, she faced, basically the lady, like this girl, she faces backlash from people from her school, from the president of the school, and all this stuff. Like, listen, people, I understand that you have an opinion, right? That's why I do this show. I have an opinion, and I want my opinion to get out. But you got to sit down and break stuff down, right? You got to make sure that your opinion is really not offending anyone. Like next week's show, I've already written up next week's show. There is a little bit in it that I am going to have to go back and write. Or not write, but look at it. Make sure I'm not going to offend anyone. Because it is touching on a touchy subject. And I want to make sure that I get my point across. But at the same time, I want to make sure I don't step on any toes, right? Because that's just what I want to do. And y'all will be able to hear about that next week. But for what I'm talking about right now is this young lady wanted to get her point across. But she wasn't doing it in the proper way. Like right now, girl, you ain't going to be able to get a job. You ain't going to be able to go find a school. Your best bet is to find a sugar daddy or go back home, right? Find something. That's like that one girl we talked about. um, the police officer, right? The police officer girl, she's not gonna be able to find a job anywhere because of what you did, right? And you dug your own grave. You didn't have to say nothing. You could have kept your comments. You could have hung around in your racial and your racial group, right? And y'all could have been talking about how y'all didn't like black people and how y'all didn't like country music, right? That's what you could have did, but you didn't. You got on TikTok and you spread your word all over there, and now look, you're in trouble. But I was going to go here. What I wanted to do here is I wanted to just state off some facts, okay? Right? So it says country music is just like most music. It's black. According to the Library of Congress.gov, it says the origin of country music can be traced to the 17th century, where European and African immigrants they immigrated or they moved to the North America, right? And then I said, for me, country derives from pain and suffering and sadness, right? If you listen to a country song, that's what it talks about. It talks about, I done lost my dog, I done lost my woman, I feel real sad, gonna drink 'em up, type of, it's talking about pain, it's talking about the struggle of a lot of stuff. That's where country derives from. It also talks about happy and joyous moments. Now, ladies and gentlemen, can you please tell me what kind of music do you know from the 17th century that also talks about pain and sadness in the struggle, but also going to be happy and joyous? Anybody got a guess? Because I'll tell you, those sound like spirituals to me, like black spirituals that black people used to sing while they was out in the fields. That's just me. That's just me. Also, too, down here I was looking at, it says Beyonce was born in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. Okay, I don't know about you, but when I get the goddamn glasses on, I don't know about you, but when I think of Texas, I think of country. That's all I think about. I think of cowboys, right? I think of the country. Like, it's not like, I don't think of like, I don't know about you, but when it comes to Texas, I really don't think about racial country. I think of more of a cowboy country with that. It's different. I don't know. It's just different for me. Maybe that should be an episode where I talk about, like, you got like Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana type country, and then you got like Texas country, and then you got like Florida country, right? They're just all a different type of South to me, right? But she was born in Houston, Texas, which is the state. It's like the country state, right? And you saying she's not country. A question I had is, when did country music become a genre of music for white slave owners? Like, where was that transition at, right? You've got these black slaves, these African slaves, right? They are out in the fields. They're in pain and stuff like that. And so they start singing these songs to make the day go by quicker, right? And when did these white people be like, you know what, those songs are really nice. I like those songs. So what we're going to do is we're going to steal those, and we're going to make them and turn them country. We're going to take those songs. We're going to take those spirituals like you do everything else. Type of a deal. But I don't know. I just think it's crazy. I think this goes back to what I've talked about in previous shows, right? I think it is stupid for people in my generation, actually for anybody nowadays, to be racist, okay? I think it is stupid for anyone to be not smart, not knowledgeable about anything. Why? Because we have the internet. I can look up anything on the internet and find out facts about certain things. I did that, right? I wanted to know where Beyonce was born. I looked that up. I wanted to look up some stuff about how did country music originate. And it's one of the very first links. I didn't have to go and dig very far for it, right? It tells you right there. It was made in the 17th century. It was brought over here by European and African immigrants, right? That's who it was made by. It comes from the spirituals, right? It comes from the spirituals. Like, you cannot make that connection, right? I just don't know. The banjo, right? We associate the banjo with a lot of white people, the white genre music, There's even comedians, they talk about the banjo and how just, you got that little twang in there, like it's a little too twangy, like it's so twangy it's racist type of a deal. I got to find that clip somewhere. But the banjo, it is a black instrument. It was created by black people. It was an instrument we played, right? And I think it's so stupid that we have all this information. We have this resource here. And you're dumb. You're ignorant. What I would have done is, if I was going to go on TikTok and start talking, I would go do my research so that I don't look like a fucking idiot, right? That's what I would do. I don't know. And also, too, since we're on, like, YouTube and stuff, I go back and I edit these videos, and I try to make clips and stuff of them, and I'll be on a real good trip. Like, that last bit, it was really good. I was just powerful. I was in it. I was in podcast mode. And then I say something like, fuck. And I'm like, dang, man. I can't use it as a clip. Or I got to edit it up so that I'll be talking and be like, yeah, man, let me tell you something. I got to bleep it out or something like that. But it's just crazy to me. People, we need to make sure that we are thinking with our brains before we talk. Because I'm a person who has ADHD. I've lived with this all my life, and I have gotten in trouble many a times for my mouth, right? I have said things that when I wasn't supposed to say them. I've said things that I wasn't supposed to say, right? And I've gotten in trouble for it. So, take a lesson from me and watch what you say. Make sure you are knowledgeable about what you were saying. Make sure there's nothing false that you were saying. And then if you do say something and then you figure out that it's false, make sure you go back and you say, hey, I didn't know. It's like the whole COVID thing. When we first started this show and COVID was going on, we started posting stuff weekly about all the updates and things that were going on with COVID, right? Now, if you go listen to my show and you hear the information that I was talking about then, and versus what we know now, you'd be like, Joe, you was giving false information. I wasn't. That's just the information that was given to us at the time, right? So, yes, I don't know. I just think this lady, she just screwed her whole life up by trying to do a video, right? And I've recently learned that. I had a good job and damn near and lost it. One, because of my CDL, but then lost it two because of some things I said on TikTok. So, yes, I totally understand. Also, too, before we move on to our next topic here, Darius Rucker, right? People are on top of this. They're saying, like, Darius Rucker is not getting the love that he should be getting because he's technically a very popular black artist. People like Darius Rucker. I do like Darius Rucker. And the thing about him is, the reason why I think he gets his flowers. He's gotten his flowers in the community. But I think what the difference is between him and Beyonce is Beyonce is not known for country, right? It's not known for country. Like Tracy Chapman, right? The reason why they made a big deal about Tracy Chapman this past year was because her song was sang by a country artist. And then that song became number one, right? I think it was like number one, like song of the year or the best country song or whatever, right? She just won an award. They were making a big deal out of that. Why? Because Tracy Chapman's song wasn't originally a country song, right? It's like Beyonce. Beyonce isn't a country artist, right? She is just now She's just now dipping her toe into the country world, right? And I think why people are making a big deal about it is why they're making such a big deal about it is because she can do it, right? She can do it, right? Here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. This is what I like about black people, right? One of the things I love about black people, right, is we have been taught our whole lives that if you are going to do something, you need to be 10 times better than any white person that does it, right? In order to be successful. And so we've taken that, right, and we have run with it. That has been instilled within us since we were young, and we just run with it. So everything that we do, we just be the best at it. And then when you come up against a white person and they try to do the same thing you doing, they can't match up. That's what I think is what's going on with this whole country thing, right? You got all these country artists, right? They out here. They've been doing country for years. They've been singing country. This has just been their genre. They've been running it for years. Beyonce coming here with a couple songs, number one, because she doing good. She went from pop and hip hop, right? Now she's doing country music. People are mad because she's doing a good job at it. It's the same thing about a lot of these black country artists. I'm looking at TikTok right now, and there's nothing but black country artists just sitting there playing songs, and they songs good, right? And it's just blowing up. You know, I'm not saying white people aren't talented. It's just we go above and beyond because that's what we're taught. You know, that's something I was taught as a kid. You know, if I have the credentials, and Billy Bob, who's a white guy, doesn't have the credentials, and I go up for a job interview, he's more likely to get the job because he's white, even though I might have the credentials, right? So then what I have to do is I got to show my worth. I have to work 10 times harder than anybody else in order to move up, right? I just think it's crazy, right? But the whole thing with Darius Rucker, his music, he was in country. He's made his, so he started out in country, right? And he's kind of worked his way up through country. He spent a lot of years in country. He's made hit after hit after hit, and he has worked his way to where he became a really good, known country artist. So he did his part. But it's the reason why Beyonce's getting so much praise and everything right now is because she went from hip hop to country, right? And she's making it known that black people can do country. I think Darius Rucker, he was just like, hey, I'm making my music and this is it. I'm not trying to make a statement. I just want to make music, you know. It ain't about being black. It ain't about being white. He was just a dude making music. That's all he was doing. But Beyonce, she is she's a pioneer. She's like this. I'm getting ready to do something and I'm bringing people with me. That's how she is. And people are following her, right? She's saying black people can make good country music. I'm taking country back. And here's all my brothers and sisters behind me. They coming with me and they going to show you black people can make country music because country music is black music, right? All right. I think I spent a little too much time on that. See, when I do these notes and things, I just kind of write bullet points. And I'm sitting there typing, okay, we're going to talk about this right here, okay? And then we're just going to do ... because I'm going to get carried away with that, right? Okay. So, like I said, a lot of this stuff that I'm bringing to you, it is stuff that is in the past, especially when it comes to the news and stuff. But you've got the war overseas, right? So I don't know if you heard about this. You might have heard about this, especially if you're in the news. If you're not in the news, whatever. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just bringing this stuff to you. This is just stuff that I find interesting. Iran has recently shot 300 missiles on Israel. 300. Okay. According to reports, Iran gave people in the area 72 hours to evacuate the area before the strike, which leads people to believe that this it's just a scare tactic, and Iran wanted to show the how powerful its army was, right? So uh, Israel started talking. I think Israel made an attack on Iran, right? And Iran was just like, "Hey, man, we ain't pulling up with that bull crap. Don't start messing with us, right?" So they send 300 missiles over, right? And the only reason, like from the reports and things, the only reason I think they did that was to show their firepower. Like I said, they just wanted to say, "Hey, if you do this, this is what we gonna do," right? Now, Israel, with the help of the U.S. and their other allies, they, excuse me, they protected themselves and they intercepted 99% of Iran's missiles, right? So the strike wasn't successful. But Iran and Israel, they're both happy. Iran's happy because they're just like, "Hey, man, we showed these people what our firepower is like, okay? We showed what our firepower is like. And they keep messing with us, guess what? We're going to show them again what our firepower is like." And Israel's like, "Listen, Iran can come over here and throw as many missiles as they wanted us because we got a good defense system, okay?" So they were both happy with what happened there. Iran has also said, "Hey, listen, USA, don't be coming over here, okay? Get your boy Israel. You can defend him if you want, but if you make any attack on us, we're going to get you." So Iran basically said, "Listen, any of the reserves that are overseas, they're going to start sending missiles over there to those reserves if the U.S. interferes with an offensive action against Iran." The U.S. President Biden said that he's not going to do an offensive strike, but he's only going to help Israel on a defensive side, right? So, yes. So that's what's going on with the war. Actually, there's a little bit more going on. Like I said, it's going to be coming out in a couple of weeks, and I hate that I do this. But Israel, they came back with the strike, but I haven't heard too much from that. So I'll be back. I'll be back maybe next week. So, let's take a break real quick. I got to wet my whistle, and we will be right back after this message. So stay right there. Be good. We'll see you in a second. Back from the past into the future. You might be wondering why I'm all little dressed up, but that's because I just go to work. And remember what I was saying earlier on the other half was that you have to be 10 times, black people, we have to be 10 times better in order to get the position that we want or to grow or get that, that position we want. That's what I'm doing, right? And it's real nice when you work with other black people because they're just sitting there encouraging you, Like I was talking to one of my buddies there, and he was like, I was like, "Yeah, man," I said, "I see the way you be wearing your suits and stuff like that, man. And it's really nice. I think it brings real good representation here." I said, "I got suits and stuff at home, but they told me, hey, man, you need to just downplay, You overdressed for this job." And I said, "Okay." So I wear the uniform they gave me, right? And it's just this like little nice, it's a very nice plaid shirt, and I wear my name tag with black pants and stuff. Very nice looking uniform, right? And it was just what happened. I had that one shirt, and I worked like 4 days or whatever, and I was like, "Hey, can I get another shirt?" And they said, "Yeah, we'll get you another shirt," And they haven't. And so I was like, "Hey, I need more shirts, and the reason why I need more shirts is because I don't want to be wearing the same shirt for 4 or 5 days, right? And I was like, and I'm not washing it every freaking day, type of a deal. And so my boss told me, well, I would wear that for maybe a couple days, and then just wear something nice that looks good. And I said, okay. And so that's what I do. I come in here with a suit, or not a suit, but I come in here with a tie with my vest on, and I think I look good. I feel good. Get my hair done and everything. Get so many goddamn compliments that I look good, stuff like that. But whatever. That's why I'm so dressed up. So, but on with the show. When you were younger, did anybody in your family ever say like, oh yeah, I forgot I had extra stuff too. But did anybody in your family ever just say weird stuff, right? Like one of the things my mama used to say was plant a tree. Y'all know what plant a tree means? That means sit down and don't move. That's what that means. And I remember we was at the mall one day and we was just acting all kind of crazy and stuff like that. She said, plant a tree. And my big cousin, was just like, he started laughing because we just knew what that meant. We just sat down. He was like, what that mean? And she told him, right? But did your parents ever say stuff like that? Right? Another thing that I would hear in my family is, you don't believe fat meat is greasy. Okay? Let me say that. Let me just say it in the way. Okay, so you don't believe fat meat is greasy, huh? Well, you about to find out that fat meat is greasy. Okay? This is an idiom, okay? Which means you're going to learn something the hard way. It is a common idiom used exclusively in the African American community. Right? And let me say it slow. So you don't believe that fat meat is greasy. Okay? But we just say it, we said it the fast way. So I never knew. Like, you know how people are like, you don't know what somebody's saying? So you just hear what they're saying, then you try to mimic what they say, and that's what happened with this word. So my mom would say it real fast, like, oh, you don't believe fat meat is greasy. And you'd be like, I don't know what the fuck they said, but I know that ain't good. And so it's, oh, you don't believe fat meat is greasy. Another thing is, what was it? You put your feet in it, right? Like when you make something good, say, oh, Charles, man, this barbecue good. You must put your feet in it. Love it. I love my black community so much. What's another one? You like it, I love it. Okay? I hate this one, okay? I hate it so much because it's one of those things where it's like, listen, I don't approve what you're doing, or, hey, I really don't think it's a good idea, but you're a grown person, and I ain't gonna tell you what to do. So, if you like it, I love it. I hate that one so much. Like, I've only heard it in the black community. You just like, hey, listen, I'm thinking about quitting my job and going out to California, and I'm gonna be an actor, right? I'm gonna be an actor, I'm gonna be in these big movies and stuff like that. I just think that's a real good idea. What you think? Well, if you like the idea, well, I love it. Grandma, come on now. Tell me what you really think about it. If you like it, I love it. I used to hate that one so much. But that really got me going down this rabbit hole. Because, once I start something, I just can't stop, right? So I started going down this rabbit hole here, right? And I started looking at these like weird sayings that people say, and a lot of country people, they have a lot of weird sayings. So I chose like 9, right? That I really, really want to just sit here and just tell y'all, okay? And tell me if some of your family members said any of these, especially from y'all down south and you country people, okay? So I'm gonna throw on the country accent right now. I'm gonna get my stuff here, okay? Okay, and this is how we're gonna do it. Ready? He's so cheap, he wouldn't give a nickel to Jesus riding a bicycle. The stupid thing is, I read these before. I read these. I thought they were funny. That's why they're on this list. But he's so cheap, he wouldn't give a nickel to Jesus on a bicycle. My first question was, were bicycles even invented when Jesus was around? You know? Okay, what's the next one? Next one is, let me tell you something. The porch light is on, but there's no one at home. Just be sitting there. Yeah, Elroy. Elroy, he's a good man, bless his heart. You know, he tried to come down over there and tried to change the carburetor on my truck, but let me tell you something. The porch light is on, but there ain't nobody. Oh my gosh. Okay. The next one. Oh, this one right here. Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. Listen, there's a lot of stuff that you could probably say. Well, butter my nose. Okay. What else? Well, butter my fingers. Well, butter my belly. You know. Well, butter my thighs. You know. I don't know why. Well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. So you got that one. This one I really, really liked. You know, you be sitting there, just imagine you walking down. No, you're sitting in on a bench at a park or something, right? And you see a nice looking lady, and she has tight pants on, and then you say this: "Woo-wee! Her pants are so tight I can see her religion." Okay. Well, drill my pickle. Well, drill my pickle. Who licked the red off your candy? What's this next one? You don't watch out, I'll cream your corn. I mean, I'm expecting that one to mean like they gonna punch you in the mouth or something. It just sounds kind of dirty, right? And then the last one is here. That stick in your throat. What? Oh, that sticks in your throat like a hair in a biscuit. I don't know. So, did you or any of your family have any sayings like this? Like any crazy things that they used to say? Because a lot of this stuff is just weird, you know. Let me go through the list one more time. So you don't believe fat meat is greasy. Put your foot in it, right? If you like it, I love it. The porch light, or the he's so cheap he wouldn't give a nickel to Jesus riding on a bicycle. The porch light is on, but no one's home. Well, butter my biscuits and call me well, butter my butt and call me a biscuit. Okay, hold on. I want to read. Okay, her pants so tight I can see her religion. Well, drill my pickle. Who licked the red off your candy? You don't watch out, I'm gonna cream your corn. And that sticks in your throat like a biscuit, like a hair in a biscuit. Those are those weird country sayings there. All right, let's move on to our last topic here. So, if you have not seen any of these films, stop this, go watch them, come back. Or hell, go watch some Cinema Sins about them, or Nostalgia Critic. Go watch some of those guys. They do really good on critiquing a lot of stuff. But the movies that I'm getting ready to talk about are Unbreakable, Split, and Glass, right? Those are some really good movies that I just watched. These are a series of films that are so far apart, right? So like you got Unbreakable. Unbreakable was the very first one. And then like so many years later, like 15 years later, they come out with these other two films, right? So Unbreakable is basically about this guy who's on this train, and there's a huge train accident. Everybody in this train accident dies except for this guy, right? And so now this guy is going through his life trying to figure out, why am I alive? How am I alive? Everybody died except for this person, or except for me. How is this possible? Hold on one second. I got the goddamn got the police out here. Jeez Louise, man. That's what used to happen at the old studio. We used to have a bunch of police there. I wouldn't be able to talk or anything. But now he's trying to figure out, how do I, or how am I alive? You know, as he's trying to figure this out, he goes on this journey and finds out that he's super strong, right? He's super strong. And he's figuring out all these things about him. Like, he can touch people, and when he touches them, he gets a glimpse of their life, like who they are as a person, right? And so he uses this kind of like a superpower, right? He's super strong. He has this thing where he can touch you and figure out if you are a good or bad guy, right? And he starts using that and starts to become like a superhero type of a deal, right? And then it's over, right? And then you have this movie Split 15 years later. And in this movie Split, it's about this guy who has this multiple personality disorder, right? And he just, all these different people, he kidnaps these girls, and they're going to be a sacrifice to this other personality of his, which is called the Beast. And it was a very good movie because it talked about how powerful your brain is, right? And one of the things was like, your brain is so powerful that it can manifest things that you would think that wouldn't happen. Like, it would manifest unrealistic things that we as people think can't happen, but it brings it to life. And there are cases like that have happened. Like, your mind is so powerful. Like, there have been women who thought they were pregnant, but come to find out they weren't, right? But they were going through the process of being pregnant. Like, their stomach got big. They were eating weird things, you know, like they were going through the whole process. Like, they would go get sonograms and they'd be like, hey, there's no baby. And they'd be like, hey, you know, I'm pregnant though, type of a deal. But it was a very good concept in Split, talking about, hey, like, these personalities, they can manifest things, right? So then after Split, you got Glass. And Glass is basically about the antagonist in Unbreakable. I really didn't talk about the antagonist in Unbreakable because I didn't want to. I accidentally spoil stuff sometimes, you know, and get ahead of myself, so I didn't want to mention him. But it's just really, really good. Glass is basically, you get Bruce Willis's character from Unbreakable, so you get that character. You get the character from Split, and then you get Mr. Glass, right? Mr. Glass was the bad guy in Unbreakable. He's kind of like Bruce Willis's Joker, right? And Mr. Glass is played by Samuel L. Jackson. And Samuel L. Jackson's character is just this super smart person, right? He's super smart, he's super intelligent, but his body is super fragile like glass. His bones are fragile, you know? I think in the movie they talked about he had like 94 breaks, right, throughout his lifetime. And so that's why he's called Mr. Glass. But one of the things about all three of these films is that M. Night Shyamalan, he is a director who's only done like 10, 11, 12 films. And what I really don't like about these films, or what I don't like about M. Night Shyamalan as a director, with his films, they have great ideas, right? They just listen to what I just said about describing those movies. Here's a guy who's in a train, the train crashes, he's the only one who survives, and now he's figuring out that he's a freaking superhero, right? You've got in Split, here's a guy who has multiple personalities, and the movie's talking about how your multiple personalities can bring unrealistic things that your mind can't fathom to fruition, right? And you have these ideas that are great. You have Mr. Glass. He's a super smart guy, but his weakness is that his body is super fragile, right? Great ideas. when you think about them, right? And they did, for the most part, a very good job in these films. But what I think happens is that in these films, um, they just don't satisfy you, right? These films are like a Little Caesar's pizza to me. I could eat a Little Caesar's pizza over. I can just keep eating it. I think I've almost had like two, almost three pizzas, like whole pizzas by myself because the 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 pizzas don't satisfy you, and that's how it is with these movies here, right? I've seen The Sign or The Sixth Sense, right? I've seen Old, and I've seen Unbreakable, Split, and Glass now. Okay, so those are five of M. Night Shyamalan's movies that I've seen, and each and every one of them have just kind of just left me just unsatisfied, right? I kind of compare him and Quentin Tarantino together, right? And the reason why I do that is because they both have kind of the same vibe, right? M. Night Shyamalan has like these twists in his movies, right? And so does Quentin Tarantino, right? They just kind of give you little bits of information and then you got to kind of piece it together. But when it comes to M. Night Shyamalan, I'm not satisfied, right? With Quentin Tarantino, I'm just like, wow. Yeah, man, that's crazy. And then I'm sitting there talking about it afterwards, right? I love Reservoir Dogs. I love Django. I love Kill Bill, right? I love Inglourious Bastards. I love those movies, right? Because they keep me talking. They keep my wheels turning. And M. Night Shyamalan movies, they just leave you, like I keep saying, unsatisfied. Like, there's just not that, just like that excitement afterwards. You're just kind of like, okay, you told me a story. It had a really good concept. You brought me to the climax, but then you just kind of just left me. There's like no tie-in of anything. I think I was watching Split, and I thought, man, it's very good. It's very interesting what you brought to the table. But it's just whatever, It's just whatever. And then I think what really got me excited was when Bruce Willis's character came in, right? Because then I knew that this was tying in Unbreakable to this series. And it was very good when it comes to that part, But, man, that's the only thing. Like, I watched Old, and it just kept building up. And then they had their release, but it was just like, whatever type of a deal. I don't know. You might be an M. Night Shyamalan fan, and if you are, that's awesome. I would love to hear your opinion about his movies. What am I missing? What am I missing out of it? I don't know. But I will say, as you can tell, Split was one of my favorites out of these movies, right? Just some of the things that I wrote here for Split. You can turn your trauma into becoming a superhero or a bad guy, right? Because that's what that story was about. This guy had been through a traumatic childhood, right? And so what he did, he had his different personalities. They came out in order to protect him, right? I've already talked about the mind. The mind is so powerful that you can manifest whatever you would like out of it. Like he was talking about how the beast was coming, right? And he was describing the beast and what it was and what it looked like, right? And since he believed that, that's what his mind manifested when it came to the beast, right? And I will say about all three of these movies is Bruce Willis is great. James McAvoy was great. Samuel L. Jackson is great. This is one of those movies with Bruce Willis I really don't care for, right? Actually, I don't know if I really care for Bruce Willis as just an actor. He's just kind of like a meh actor to me, right? He's one of those ones that I'm not like, oh my God. And he's just like, I don't dislike him, He's a good actor. But I don't think I've ever seen him in any movie where it's just like I was just like, yeah, man. He's always just playing that real cool dude, He's always kind of got an attitude. I think the most memorable movie to me is Armageddon. And I forget he was in that. Like, dang, I forgot that. But yes, I would love for you to tell me what you guys think about Split, Glass, and Unbreakable. Have you guys seen those films? Do you like them? I think they were very good. I enjoyed them, right? Not to the point that I would love to, but they're good movies. They got me pumped this weekend. So, guys, I'm getting ready to head out of here. Make sure you guys check us out on Facebook at The Joe Show, Instagram at _Joe Show 20, and don't forget TikTok at _Joe Show 20. We don't know how long TikTok's going to be here, but TikTok might be here for a little bit. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just babbling because I'm done. But tell me what you guys think about that. What do you think about the young lady who was talking about Beyonce? Do you think black music is country music? Right? What do you think about the stuff that's happening overseas? Right? What else did we talk about? The idioms and the sayings. If your parents or family members said weird stuff, or had weird sayings, I would love to hear them. Like today, I just what did somebody say? They said, well, watching hot water. If you watch hot water, it won't boil or something like that. Tell me what I meant, because somebody said something and I was like, what? I've never heard that one before. But hey, I'm headed out of here, guys. I thank you so much for listening to the show. Make sure you go out and you tell people about the Joe Show so we can grow bigger and better. We got some new stuff coming out. We're going to be doing a name change here. I'm going to try to get more graphics and things over here on video, so that way you guys can be more entertained when you watch the Joe Show. Also, tell me if you guys want to hear more confessions and am I the asshole? Because I can do those too. So you guys just let me know. All right, guys, I thank you so much for listening and watching The Joe Show. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody.